CarolinaPrepper.com. If you're looking for quality food storage for hiking, fishing, hunting, basic survival needs, or just for everyday use, check out our food storage line at CarolinaPrepper.com. We also carry other fine quality products such as our can-can concealment holsters for men and women. Keeping your firearm under cover and within reach puts confidence in your hands in any situation. Our products are 100% American made. Check us out today at CarolinaPrepper.com. Good morning, everyone. How are you? We've somehow miraculously made it to Thursday. Hey, Marianne, good to see you. How is everybody? Let's see if I can get YouTube up here and see who's in the old chat room already. Marlene, Renee, how is everybody? Happy Thursday, indeed. Daniel, hello. Patrick, good to see you. Send Linda our prayers, and in a few moments I'm just going to say a prayer for Linda as well. Hey, Penny Lane. Hey, Jules. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for sharing and inviting your followers. Good morning. It's Thursday. Yay. Hey, Hannah. Good to see you. Maurice, hello. How are you? Hey, Siki. How are you? Good morning. Hey, Brian. How are you? I want to, hey, Mark. Good to see you as well. I want to say a quick prayer for Patrick's wife, Linda, somebody that I have known for a long time in San Diego. They moved out of San Diego. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you. Linda, his wife, right now is in urgent care, not doing well, not feeling well for the last couple of days. So we want to ask the Holy Spirit to heal her and to let the doctors find out exactly what's wrong with her and get her back to health. So if you would please pray for Linda. She's the wife of Patrick, who is on our Facebook live every day. Hey, Lee, good to see you. Good morning. All right, so let me go ahead and start really quickly just reading a couple of verses in Proverbs. Proverbs 11. When pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright, but the wicked will fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright will deliver them, but the unfaithful will be caught by their lust. When a wicked man dies, his expectation will perish, and the hope of the unjust perishes. The righteous is delivered from trouble, and it comes to the wicked instead. The hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge the righteous will be delivered. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices, and when the wicked perish, there is jubilation. Just read a little bit of it. Yes, excellent verse, Maurice. Yep, I agree. I just wanted to get a little bit in there for you. All right, so I have an update on Kate, if everybody is ready for that update. Here we go. This is from her husband that was sent to the Ivy, who is the one that contacts me on direct message about what's going on with Kate. It says, another impressive day for my Katie. She began to answer the staff with nodding for yes and no. She was able to squeeze my hand with quite a bit of force as well. The most impressive and heartwarming thing, however, was our first kiss in 2 weeks. As I was saying goodbye to Katie, I told her I really want to kiss you right now. She began to turn her head, and from the opposite side of her ventilator, she pursed her lips. Debbie mentioned she might actually want one, so I went for it. I haven't been this happy or determined to get her healthy and back in my arms. Thank you all for praying so hard to get us this far. So that's just excellent, excellent news. The fact that, I know, breakthrough time. So please, please don't give up on praying just yet. We need to keep going because I know our prayers are helping, and everybody else's prayers around the world probably by this point. Hey, Barbara, good to see you. So for those people that I didn't say hello to coming in, hey, Chezzy, sorry I may have missed you. Jerry, Lee. I know it's beautiful news. It is absolutely beautiful news. Hey, Wendell, good morning. And, please share this with everybody when you can and when we get off so that they can also begin to pray for Kate and continue to send her healing prayers. And again, let's pray for Linda, whose husband comes into Facebook Live every day. Linda's not doing very well right now. So, yes, never give up. They said my mom would never wake up, never discount God's plans, Marlene said. Hey, Cully, good morning. I know, God can work any kind of miracle he wants to. So, I'm praying for Kate, and I know you are too, that Kate can be back on her feet really soon and back with her kids doing the Jesus dance. I know, God's so great. God is wonderful. He hears our prayers. Hey, Spencer, good morning. We were just praying for Kate. We had an update on Kate, and we're also praying for Linda. So if you could keep both of them in your prayers and ask for healing. Kate is doing better, Chessie. Yeah, you can go back if you will and listen to the replay. Hey, Robin. Good to see you. Hey, how are you? Glad to hear you. I know. Where have you been? You have been gone for so long. I tell you. When you leave like that and you don't come back for a while, I remember your name is, I think it's Bob, right? I don't know if you go by Robert or Bob, but I'm going to say Bob just in case. But it is good to see you, Bob. Yes, so the Dow broke 24,000, which it has never done. Hey, Robin, good morning. Robin, we had a update on Kate, so please go back and listen to the replay after the show if you will. Spread that message. Linda's Patrick's wife from Facebook. Yes, please pray for her. Patrick, I don't know what's wrong with her, but have them check her gallbladder. Hey, LA Plunkett, scope freezing up on me bad today. I don't know why, LA, maybe just, refresh and come back in. God is great, Catherine. Very great. The Dow's on fire, Chicago Pops. It sure is. Hey, Neil. Good to see you. So that was really, really, really good news on the Dow. It just continues to rise. Let's just hope it continues in that fashion. Yesterday, finally the tax bill went to the Senate. Can't stop winning. I know, but if you hear the Democrats, they have no idea about, they see nothing winning. I know that the New York Times is saying that Tillerson is going to be out in a couple of weeks. I don't know if I trust the New York Times, so we'll have to wait and see, but it is being this morning, and it's kind of a breaking news that Tillerson is going to be out, that Pompeo is going to take his place, and that Tom Cotton is going to take Pompeo's place. Hey, Deborah, good to see you. So I don't know. I know that President Trump has called the New York Times fake news, especially since they have been out there basically advocating. They've become advocates against, the Senate passing the tax bill. Yeah, a lot of people started to report it. It just seems like there are a lot of things. They have Tillerson and President Trump have a difference of opinion when it comes to how things are done. And when it comes to the nuclear deal in Iran, and other matters. They're not together. Tillerson wanted to, reach out and try to do some, trying to get North Korea on our side, which is absolutely impossible. I mean, if anybody says that it is possible, it isn't. It never has been, and it never will be. We're too far apart. That seems a cycle of disagreement does not mean fire. Yeah, exactly. And, there continues to be that rumor that, hey, Ryan, what do you think of your president's decision yesterday to return a post? Retweet a post. Ryan, if you're in the United States, he's your president too. If you're not in the United States, I think it was a great tweet. So I guess now when you're retweeting things that are truthful, somehow that's wrong. If you're talking about the videos and things of that matter. Bob, Geraldo, I think Fox News is starting to wonder a little bit about Geraldo because of the fact of what he did retweet and what he tweeted out. He was defending kind of Matt Lauer, saying that news was a flirty business. That's a little odd to talk about things that way. So I'm not exactly sure what he meant by that. It just kind of, cray cray. So I think they're probably looking at that and going, okay, let's hope that there's not something in the closet. Which tweet was fake, Barbara? He's been defending the Dems a lot lately. Yeah, one was half true. Because Geraldo is a dog. He's deflecting his own guilt, Marlene said. Hey, Paula, up early this morning. Hello. Yeah, so, we'll have to see what happens with Tillerson. I'm not really opposed to Tillerson going, but, maybe there are other people who really like Tillerson. I'm not truly impressed with him. Geraldo is cray cray. Yeah, I think he might be. I was watching something too. What grown man takes nasty self? I know, Cully. It's like, please stop doing that. I saw one recently where he was standing in front of his bathroom window, mirror again. I mean, and he had a towel down very far, and he was taking a picture of himself. Probably will get to keep his Exxon investments. Don't know why he wouldn't. That was Geraldo Rivera I was talking about. Geraldo. He takes a lot of pictures of himself in the mirror with a towel only around him. I guess because of his age or something. Good morning, Rob. How are you? Yes, he is disgusting, Robin. I think that maybe at his age, he's still trying to prove that he's got it or something. I don't know. One thing that I heard that was really disgusting, and he's always been strange, Deborah said. Yeah, that seems, pretty much describes it. He does not have it. I know, Jimmy, but he does. He thinks he does. Keep it to yourself. Geraldo, keep it to yours. Is NBC going to bring back To Catch a Sexual Predator? Oh, my gosh, Harold, that's a good question. They would have to set it up in their own studios, I guess, for everybody there. Yeah, well, except Sam Elliott. Okay, there's always an exception, Marlene. Middle-aged crazy, Wayne said. Oh, my gosh. A little late for him to claim midlife crisis. I saw something, and you may want to go back and see it later. It's an interview with Barbara Walters and Bette Midler. And this is, it was obviously an old video. And it was on Jezebel article. But they were talking about Geraldo Rivera. I guess he had just written some book about Bette Midler and them having some type of affair or whatever together. And called her, just wonderful. So she was all happy about that. Hey, Dawn, good to see you. And so in this interview, she said, should I tell you something, Barbara? But I think it'll get me in trouble if I tell you. And Barbara's like, oh, go ahead, Bette. Tell us what it is. Bette Midler at the time, and I think it may have been in the 90s, but I'm not sure. Early 90s, if then. Hey, Teresa. She claims that she was doing some, I don't know, movie, not a movie, but I don't know, something with Geraldo Rivera. And his producer came there. Maybe she was going to be on a show. I don't remember exactly what it was. But she claims that Geraldo and the producer kind of pushed her into a bathroom and started groping her. And she didn't seem to be too disgruntled about it, but it was just something that she never talked about. So I'm sure, there are things in Geraldo's closet, whether it's true or not. I know it's yucky. I feel like you're watching TMZ because it is. I mean, seriously. That was sleazy potty mouth then, Jerry said, and she's not now. He has issues about bathrooms. I know there used to be like horrible jokes about like Burger King bathrooms and people going in there. I wonder, to catch a sexual predator, maybe they should set it up on Capitol Hill, Spencer said. I'm starting to wonder who isn't a sexual predator these days. I mean, it is crazy. You made it. Yay, Danelle. I don't know now. Tuned her out years ago. I know, Jerry. But I thought that was really odd. And the way she was handling it, while it sounded like it was pretty in some ways traumatic for her. She wasn't talking about it as though it were traumatic. Now, I just want to mention, and I really do believe this, that, as I said before, this is going to be the year, and as we get closer to 2020, this is going to be the year where men are even more pushed to the back seat, and also women are brought out in the forefront, and men are going to be made to look less than. Yeah, she's guilty of hiding it too, then, Marianne, if that's true. And it's already basically started. I mean, it started a long time ago with Michelle Obama coming out and talking about sort of how women have been taught to stay quiet. And I told you then, prepare for what's coming. Now, I didn't know about all these sexual harassment allegations. I think the timing is suspect, meaning I think there's a movement on to minimize you guys. I really do. And it's getting stronger. And you've been minimized a lot. I see it in schools where young boys are minimized, and it's continuing on. So, wait until election season. You betcha, Marianne. Me too. I've called about net neutrality and reveal who used the taxpayers' money for sexual payoffs. Chesney said there is somebody right now who's a Michigan Democrat. Her name is, I don't think I have her name. It didn't matter to me. But it's a Michigan Democrat running for the Attorney General. She released a campaign ad which suggests her answer to stopping sexual harassment is to elect more women. What is minimized? Men are going to be. Hey, Nina, good morning. Girls in school are being harassed daily, Alexa said. Well, little boys are being turned into little girls in the schools, in a lot of schools. Because, the things that boys naturally do, like fidgeting and getting up out of their seats and stuff like that, is no longer acceptable. Robin said, my 13-year-old is noticing how men are being treated. Not the famous ones, but just men in general. She asked me about it last night. I explained exactly what you're talking about to her. That's what Robin said. So true. I see it with my grandchildren. Yep. And as I've told you before, I had so many parents that came to my office. Hillary and Uma are also predators, Bob said. What's the definition of harassed? Probably unwanted touching, unwanted verbal lewdness, things of that nature. I don't have a dictionary right in front of me, but my daughters and friends are called, bad names. 5-year-old kisses as a 5-year-old. I don't know what that means. Well, a 5-year-old kissing a 5-year-old, I think that's not harassment, though in school they would say it is. Drugging too many young kids these days. Yes, as I was saying, I had a lot of parents brought their kids to me and said, especially the male children, that the teachers wanted them to be on some type of medication because they were fidgeting around in their seats too much. And, of course, I sent them to the psychiatrist, but I also, because I have to legally, ethically, I have to. Hey, Shannon. But I also gave them behavioral ways, methods of doing it without medication. Some people need medication, some people don't, but it has to be checked out by a psychiatrist. But putting small kids like that on medication just because the teacher wants them to sit still, in my book, is a no-go. And a lot of these parents I was able to help with the behavioral modifications, and they could go back and the kids were fine. Some of them, took my suggestion and homeschooled as well. Feminism promotes entitlement, not equality. Well, I believe that. Especially when you're a feminist and you're talking down all the time about men as if you have no faults of your own. Maybe he touched my breast reaching for the cream at coffee bar. Was that real or 30 years ago? Barbara said. I left the Democrat Party over Bill Clinton getting a second dance. Had Hillary gotten to the White House, the issue with left-wing sexual harassment and assault would have remained buried, Spencer said. I never was Democrat, ever. Good morning, Pat. Good to see you. Not joking. Look it up, feminist baby. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, the feminist movement has done everything that they can also to minimize men and continue to do so. Teacher needs to learn patience and how to do that job or something else, but be a teacher or do something else. Yeah, I mean, what happens is teachers don't, and I understand it. They don't want to take time to have to do this behavioral stuff. They want to teach. They don't want to do the other. Kind of goes part and parcel. You could send them out. You could get them a counselor in school if they need it. But I do understand it's distracting, and as teachers have more and more kids in their classroom, it makes it more and more difficult. I love an alpha male, but one with respect at the forefront, Shauna said. Yeah, I mean, the people like John Wayne today would be called a sexual harasser, probably. I think degrading men is part of the takedown of our lifestyle, not biblical, Barbara said. I would agree with that, Barbara. I'm going to be in trouble. I call everyone sweetie. I know, Danielle, you have to be careful, because even if you call another woman sweetie, in today's world, that could be sexual harassment. It really could. I think you have to be very careful. I was raised to always respect ladies. That's how my dad raised you. Well, and good for your dad. Everything, these days, I mean, people seem to be looking for reasons these days to go after somebody. So I don't know. Yeah, come to Tennessee. All these allegations will have a downside for professional women. Could be. Yeah, I don't like the fact that some of these people, when they're coming out, like some of these women that I've heard, and even this the attorney that's running for the AG, this Michigan Democrat, she says, we need more women in positions of power. Well, yes, we do, but not because of anything that men have done. We just, it's good to have people, men and women, who are in positions of power. She says she won't sexually harass her staff. But see, yes, it is probably wrong to call a lady sweetie or honey, especially if it's in a workplace environment, Pat. Yes. I would say the answer would be yes to that. It started with the LGBT movement. We are going to be a sexless society, Chicago Pop said. Well, people are working on it. What is it now that you're supposed to raise your kids neutral and not have them be any sex at all? Let them decide what sex they want to be, even though they have the parts of one or the other. Yeah, I think you have to more sexual training at workplace, especially in California. I know, Harold, probably so. Parents are not letting their kids play sports because they could get hurt. That Cully in California, you'd think that would be true. Hey, Sippy, waitress at breakfast calls me honey, dear, etc. And Sippy, I don't have a problem with it if it's in the right environment. I know, double pump. Maybe more. Make it a third one. But I think in the workplace environment, a lot of people would be offended by being called honey and sweetie. It's kind of, they may see it as degrading. I wouldn't do it. I don't know if there's specifically a law against it, but I certainly wouldn't do it. Yeah. So, and I think it just depends upon where you are. If you're with family and friends, whatever. But if you're in a job and a work environment, I wouldn't risk it myself. I wouldn't risk calling, somebody a girl or a boy that was over 18 in my work environment either. So, I mean, I just think there's a lot of things that we can't say anymore. With stupid identity pronouns now, we will be saying good morning, you, he. No, it's Z, actually, Jerry, Z-E. I say I'm not your sweetie or hun, Barbara said. Yeah, it's sad. I get very uncomfortable when black men address me as Miss Shauna when I lived in the South. Yeah. Yeah, the pendulum has swung really far, and we're going to have to wait kind of it goes back. Rex is here when asked, yeah. I don't think, bless Cat, he's going to really talk about Tillerson too much. If they're going to do it, he'll just do it. Are we getting close to losing the First Amendment? Yes, Pat, I believe we are. We are worried about the Second Amendment, and we should be, but I think that we're getting closer to losing the First Amendment. Z crazies run the asylum. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many constraints. And Pat, look at this. The liberal left has less constraint on their First Amendment rights. The conservatives have more restraints on their First Amendment rights. Some things that they can say, they claim that we can't say. So, I think what you have to do within reason is just continue to speak out for your First Amendment rights. Marlene says she's glad she's retired. I know you don't have to worry about those type of things anymore. It's really scary. Yes, it is. And this is the kind of world that your children and your grandchildren and their children are going to be growing up in. Imagine pretty soon people are going to have to, walk around with their hands in their pockets. And even that might be suspect, so that you make sure that you don't touch anybody else. Cully said, glad I'm as old as I am. Boys could be boys back then. Yeah, my wife dresses conservative in a male-dominant profession, never was harassed. Now she's the boss. Good, Sippy. That's great. Teach them to be strong. White House official Tillerson expected to leave State Department in January. Yeah, is that something? Susie, thank you for the super hearts. Shauna, is that something that just broke, or is unknown source from the White House? Because I read that too, that he wanted to at least be there until the end of the year, and people had assumed that that's what he was going to do. But they're saying now that he always was going to leave, so it's going to be one of those things. Mama and Sir in the South, where we were taught to say, sugar, sweetly hun, so sad, just a term of endearment. Yeah, it is. So, and Deborah, that's a cultural thing. That's a Southern cultural thing. And so, again, it's kind of like you're having to change your culture because it doesn't fit society's view of it. Nikki Haley will be a great Secretary of State. Yeah, they want to get Pompeo. That's what they're saying. Good to be retired, not have to deal with all this change in the workplace, Chicago Pop said. Yeah. Good morning, Amanda. No, they're saying Pompeo and that Tom Cotton's going to head the CIA. Yes. That's the rumor anyway. And it came out by the New York Times. And again, the president has called the New York Times fake news just yesterday. Nick, how are you doing? Is it illegal in California to use the wrong pronoun? Bob, only at certain, like in nursing homes now. I don't know if that has gone into effect. It probably has. Like in a nursing home or something like that, where you intentionally don't use the what they ask to be called. Sort of more in the medical industry. It's crazy, but I don't know much about Pompeo. Is a good choice to everyone. I hope Tom Cotton is head of the CIA. I think that would be good. I don't know about Pompeo either. Haven't really looked into him. I see Pool Boy Rubio is teaming up with Schumer on the tax plan, Cully said. Why not? Right, Cully? Sheesh. Yeah, he would be, Tom Cotton, I think, would be really good. I hope they make that decision if that's what they're going to do. If Tillerson wants to leave voluntarily or whatever. Pompeo is a globalist. Yeah, what I figured. How will that law affect people who don't live in California? I think it's just a California law, Donnell. I don't know if other states have that law. And if you're in another state doesn't have that law, then it has no effect on you. I hope they build a lot of jails, judges, and lawyers to charge everyone with this BS. Marlene said. As an intern therapist, I always respect what my clients want to be called. Ethics, Chezzy said. I don't think Tillerson was going to leave. Like my hubby drives there for concerts. Oh, no. This is for people who work in the industry. New movie out called Rubio called Gone Boy. You cannot make a law against free speech. It's against the Constitution. Yeah, I think it would more, Barbara, be of respecting the clients, maybe, that type of thing. And if somebody wants to be called, Bob instead of Tom, you're supposed to call them Bob instead of Tom. Fox just announced Pelosi is calling for Conyers to resign. Yay, Pat, finally. And by the way, Conyers is in the hospital right now because of a stress-related situation. Dr. NYE. Yeah, you could be called anything, I guess. So he is in the hospital. Yep. That's what I read this morning. He's in the hospital. Maybe he found out Nancy was going to call for him to resign. There's no free speech amendment at work. That's correct. Sippy, thank you. Where were you weeks ago when I was trying to explain that to people? Seriously, I have said that till I'm blue in the face. And it seems like it goes whoop. Not for people that are in here right now, but for other people who've come in and talked about it, mostly on the left, they don't get that. Halfway point, please retweet this if you will. As Shauna says, retweet that puppy. Pelosi can follow his lead. Take McCain, McConnell, Feinstein with you. Oh my gosh, Cully. I can't even say what Cully just put there. It is a very slippery slope at work. It is, Pat, very much so. I was in a meeting one time, and this is true. I was sitting in a meeting, and we were in a round circle, right? And it was all women. Maybe one guy, I can't remember. This was a long time ago. I had something on my mind that day, and so when somebody was talking, I literally was kind of looking across the room, not even knowing where I was looking, just deep in thought. I mean, I don't know what it was. I can't remember what it was, but I was really concerned with it and bothered by it, and I couldn't even hear too much of what was going on. After the meeting, this one woman went to my manager and said that I had been rude to her and had stared at her. And I couldn't believe that. So people are extremely sensitive. Hey, Kim, good to see you. So you have to be careful, and like everything you do, just looking at somebody, not looking at somebody, not talking to them, can be a problem. So you just never know. Microaggressions. I know, and that's California. That was a long time ago. And I mean, literally, she was so incensed because she thought I was staring at her and was being rude by staring. I mean, my gosh. I didn't even realize she was in the room. That's how much I was kind of thinking about what had on my mind. Would like to see term and age limitation on Congress. Yes, as well as the Supreme Court. Often wonder, need to look at the floor. I know, Lee. But if you do that, Lee, then somebody's going to accuse you of not, of ignoring them. So you can't win. You really can't win. People are too sensitive. And they've become more and more sensitive, as we have said that it's absolutely okay to be overly sensitive. Now, I've got some more information. An Army veteran now is coming out and saying that Al Franken groped her during a USO tour in 2003. She claims that he put his arm around her and groped her breast. And she said she left it there long enough that it wasn't an accident. Over cotton and Hobby Lobby. I know. You can offend somebody over anything these days. I don't get off my lawn. I mean, it's crazy what people are offended by. I've had women get angry thinking I was trying to pick them up because I said hello. I know, Sippy. And if you ignored them, then they would be angry at you because they would think that you were demeaning to them. My fear is, how do we know now how much is true, or now how do we know? Maybe just write that one again. There was a lot there. Leaving January 2018. You stare at us. I know, I'm staring at you. I'm so sorry. I'll try to look away. Al Sharpton offended me. I know. Al offends me every day. So now we need to be calling for Al Franken to step down. And those women yesterday that were in that news conference, they went down there and called for Al Franken to step down. And of course, they weren't they weren't allowed to see Al. But anyway, your dog barked at a kid wearing bright red shoes, ran to those shoes and barked. And they say dogs are colorblind. My husband got called to the dean's office for calling another professor young lady. He now doesn't talk to any woman except the one he works with in the chemistry department. There you go. That's what Robin said about her husband. Don't stare at my buddy either. I have my eyes in the back of your head. I know, Jerry. Because, you could be in trouble for doing that as well. The first stories out on Franken were taken here as childish pranking. The later stories, though, are quite predatory in nature. That for Franken, that's the 5th woman in 2 weeks. Shoes kid walking to school, yeah. So, again, gives it more credibility that it was an Army veteran. I saw that on TV last night. He's a coward. Good morning, Monique. Good to see you. So, I don't know. Again, that was when Al Franken was still a comedian. And again, still is. Hey, Fred. Good to see you. But I don't know what they're going to do with that. I think that maybe Nancy Pelosi ought to be calling for him to step down too. Uncertainty will keep women out of meetings or other workplace situations, Sippy said. Sippy, a long time ago, the thing that used to make me really upset, this was in the probably late 70s, early 80s, maybe even the 90s. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But the men, like the boss, used to go to lunch with the males, or they would go play golf with the males, and the women weren't invited. And again, it was during a time when that was allowed. Nobody thought of it as, discrimination, but it was not good, and it was absolutely treating the men differently than the women. That wouldn't be allowed today, but it was then. Oh yes, yes. There's a new accusation against Russell Simmons. He's stepping down from his many companies amid sexual assault and harassment allegations from a 1991 event or interaction that he had with Jenny Lumet. She said he forced her to have sex with him. So I'm telling you, it's every industry. Every industry is being touched by this. So we know how many secrets have been hidden for all this time. If Pompeo replaces Tillerson, that's good news for Julian Assange. Shauna said, eyes rolling, Alexis said. Another day, another one bites the dust. I heard about Russell Simmons 1 month ago. Really, Susie? Just now kind of coming out in the news. Pretty amazing, though. Pretty amazing. Rosie O'Donnell is on her warpath again with President Trump. Once he tweeted out yesterday about Matt Lauer, she put this big child rapist right across his tweet and tweeted that out. If I were President Trump, I would go after her for defamation, but, that's her. Whistling at women is just creepy and weird. I've never done that. Yeah, that is absolutely no longer allowed. Russell Simmons is he's the founder of hip-hop label Def Jam Recordings and the CEO of another big communications, Monique. The left has pretended to be purveyors of women's rights. Now we see how they condone the notion of women being nothing but play toys for their leaders, Spencer said. Oh, wow. Sorry, I got to go. Oh, no problem, Kat. See you tomorrow, okay? Take care. She needs to be sued. I know. I mean, that's going pretty far. I mean, when you're calling somebody a pedophile, child rapist, whatever, get ready to be sued. You can put lipstick on Rosie, but she, golly, someone needs to bring the people in Hollywood down a few notches. And Danielle, I think that's probably what they're doing. It seems like it. And Russell Simmons, he has gotten away with a lot. Why would she? Barbara said. Do you think this will put distance between men and women? Pat, no, I think that the distance that it will put is what is needed. I mean, I think in the business realm of things, it may put distance, but I think it will also bring women up to maybe a higher level of equality because, there has been glass ceilings that some women can't break, and maybe this will start to see that happen. I say that's a good thing. If the women are qualified to be moved up, I think that's great. Boot still on her right leg. God, Hillary has a boot too. Did you mention the kindergarten Clinton found? Not yet. Yeah, the Gateway Pundit is saying that an ex-Clinton Foundation executive, Joel Getz, and he's also an associate dean of Yale, he's an executive linked to Chinese kindergarten that's under investigation for alleged child molestation. So he's an ex-Clinton Foundation executive, also an associate dean of Yale. And there's a He's being linked to a Chinese kindergarten under investigation for alleged child molestation. Some of the things that the Gateway Pundit said are pretty disgusting. For example, the children allegedly had needle marks. They were stripped naked. They were given white pills and brown syrup, according to what the parents are saying. Monique said somebody needs to sue the heck out of Rosie and take her for everything she's got. She's a beast and needs to be brought down. Should be. Thank you, Deborah. Yes, it's an absolute horror story. I mean, horrific. And, there's a lot of stuff like that that goes on overseas. And, did you post that article? No, but it's Gateway Pundit, Jerry. You can't miss it. I really feel we are on the edge. Well, Pat, we're in the end times. What can I say? Everything is going to be turned upside down. Everything that you thought used to be is different now, and it's going to continue to get different and just go downhill. Amanda agrees with you, Monique, about Rosie. You saw it yesterday and lost it. Yeah, it's on Shauna's timeline, Jerry, she was saying. Clinton Cabal. I really want to be there when all these people bow to Jesus and call him Lord. Danelle, you should be. You will be, and all the rest of us will be there too. Yeah, Philippines, Thailand. And again, I think, we're going to hear some things. We're going to see things uncovered more, even in the United States, about pedophilia, child sex trafficking, et cetera, et cetera. But, you can't go around accusing people of stuff like that until you have proof. So you just, I wouldn't make those accusations. And again, you're talking about $1 billion industry. So it's fine. Get proof and then go for it. There was some woman, I guess, I was reading in what has happened to our society. It's called, Pat, it was destined to happen. I mean, it's in Revelation. Yeah, like the Pizzagate thing that Alex Jones got in trouble for. You can't be saying stuff like that. Hey, Rob, good to see you. She did jail time. What was her name? She did jail time. What are you talking about, Jerry? I missed the first part of your conversation. But I was going to say, there was a woman in California, thanks for the flowers, Robert. She and her husband were going to look into adopting children. And supposedly her husband then said to her, well, I want to let you know, a long time ago, I got in trouble, with allegations of like child sexual whatever a long time ago. And so, but he said, not anymore. I think he may have been doing porn. I don't even remember. But he said to her, don't worry, I don't do that anymore. There's no problem. I guess she had somebody start investigating him and found out that there were tons of child pornography that he was in possession of. So she filed for divorce and then turned him in. So there's, according to that story, there's one more off the street. And that happened in San Mateo, California. So that's pretty creepy. But, you wonder how many other people. There have been, murders in San Diego of children where they found child pornography on their computers. So it's a huge problem. And I think, again, it's going to be uncovered. It's a matter of when that's going to happen and who all is going to be involved. I'm guessing that there are a number of people in there. Okay, Danelle, great. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you tomorrow, okay? If you're able to. Yeah, they're very sick people, Shauna. And again, it's going to come out. All this stuff is coming out. Everything is being exposed. I mean, people can't run and hide from this stuff anymore. It's not going to happen. And as I've said before, I think God is exposing all of this right now. This subject is taboo with the media. Guess why? God is exposing these pedos. Yep. Little lost girl in New York, North Carolina, dear Lord, let them find her. She's a 3-year-old, right, in North Carolina. Marlene, she's been missing for a couple days. Smuggled 33 kids from Haiti. Jerry was saying. Floodgates have been open. They have been, and Marlene, they're not gonna close. It's going to keep coming open. More and more. I mean, I tell you, if people were in that business, if I were them, I would Well, first of all, I wouldn't be doing it. But if I were them, I would get out of the United States and go as far away as I possibly could, maybe to Thailand or wherever, and live there. But it's disgusting, and they should be caught and they should be brought to justice. And my heart breaks for those poor little children that are going through God only knows what every single day. Open the floodgates and of heaven too. Yep. You're dyslexic, Chessie said. No problem. The information age is upon us. Many will be taken down, Spencer said. Yes. Evil will reveal. Yep. Think parents, people who hurt their children should get the chair. Yeah, I'm kind of, every time I see something when there's sexual abuse or whatever of a child, and when people are given, like a slap on the wrist, that's not okay with me. You hurt a child, and it should be over for you. 3-year-old is missing. Her name is Mariah. It's like, how does a 3-year-old go missing? I think the one in North Carolina, wasn't she taken out of her room? Yeah, death penalty, no question, Lee. Absolutely. The proud will be humbled and the meek will be lifted up. Might be like the Texas case. Yeah, we had a case in San Diego where the guy went in and took her out of her bed. Marlene said, yes, that one disappeared out of her bed in North Carolina. Florida has a lot of missing children. Yeah, Susie, that's an issue for sure. 3 adults in the trailer, Alexa said. Has to be death penalty, so it's a severe deterrent. I believe so. And Shauna, I think it used to be. The laws against child molestation and everything else used to be so much stiffer than they are now when you're talking about child abuse or murdering a child. Oh, wow. As an Eisenstadt case here in Florida 25 years ago, never found. Dies, no one locked the door. Does no one lock the doors? Barbara, in the case in San Diego, they don't seem to really know what happened because I think the door may have been locked. I don't know, but the mom was out. They were waiting for the mom to come home. The dad had the bedroom door closed, and this David Westerfield went up into her room, got her out of her room, took her, did unspeakable things to her, and then killed her. Someone in the trailer killed her stepdad, saw her last. Kim said, could be Kim, I don't know. You hurt a child, it hurt them for life. I know, Chessie. It is crazy, Robert. And that little girl, her name was Danielle Van Dam, and she died on 2202. It's a date I can never forget. That's when he kidnapped her, was February 2nd, 2002. Usually a relative, friend, or neighbor, just like Salt Lake case. Can't remember her name. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's an issue, and obviously we need stiffer penalties, stiffer laws for that. No excuse. The death penalty is so controversial it would never happen, unfortunately. I know, Pat. It is unfortunate. If nothing else, it should be a mandatory life sentence with hard labor. Must have a meaning, 2202. I know, Susie. And the parents were accused of, and I think admitted to, they did a lot of partner swapping out in the garage. And I think it attracted bad things, if nothing else. But that case was something that just rocked San Diego. Yeah, you remember that, Marlene? It was bad. That beautiful little girl, just a beautiful little girl. John Benet Ramsey, I think was the same, only they buried their child. I don't know if they're ever going to find out what happened to John Benet Ramsey. Huh, wow. There's over 200,000 Puerto Ricans now that have arrived in Florida since Hurricane Maria. Satan does his worst on certain days with numbers, Susie said. Yeah, I mean, that to me was just kind of odd that would be the date. I mean, that's just kind of creepy. Clinton emails, ID, still speed. Lucky us, yeah. Yeah. Well, I know those 200,000 people supposedly, Cully, are there temporarily, but I don't believe they're there temporarily. I believe that they're going to stay. And they are American citizens, so they can stay, they can move anywhere they want to. And, numerology plays a big factor in Satanism. Susie said, has jury come back in the Kate case yet? I don't know. What do you mean jury, Kim? If you're talking about Kate, the one we've been praying for, there's an update at the beginning of the scope. You might want to hit the replay afterwards. Let's see. I guess there's a memo that is surfacing that shows that Devin Nunes, a couple of weeks ago, have you heard about the huge asteroid that is going to pass very close to the Earth on 12/17? I have, Pat. I don't know what to think about it or how bad it's going to be, but I have heard about it. But they've been talking about those things for a while, so they don't seem too worried about it, but I live in Florida. A lot of the people from Puerto Rico will probably stay. Well, Susie, I'll tell you what. If I were from Puerto Rico, I would stay. For sure. Because I don't think that, I know they want Puerto Rico to be even better than it was before. But, you can't, you can't take something that's that poor, a place that's that poor, and bring it back to better. I mean, you have to bring it up to a minimal standard first before you can make it better. As long as they do it the right way, yeah. So anyway, Devin Nunes wanted to bring contempt charges against the DOJ and the FBI for not turning over information regarding whether or not the Obama... Oh, Kate Steinle. No, I haven't heard, Kim. Whether Obama administration relied on anti-Trump dossier to justify surveillance. Subpoenas were sent to the DOJ and FBI in June, July, and August, but not complied with. They said that, of course, the bank records show that it was funded by the Clinton campaign and the DNC. And so, Alan Dershowitz, too, this is on a different subject. Alan Dershowitz is saying that Mueller is going well beyond his authority as a prosecutor and needs to go. We've bailed out Puerto Rico from bankruptcy 4 times. I know, Susie, and they're wanting, and I get it, they're wanting Puerto Rico to probably, look like Florida and be as good as Florida, and you just can't do that. Spencer said the real estate developers are going to have a field day destroying the natural resources in Puerto Rico now. Puerto Rico, come and go as they please. Yeah, well, it's an American territory. Yet they don't want to be a state. Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to... I don't think that's going to change, so... Puerto Rico needs a total rebuild from the ground up. Mueller is a crook, Obama holdover. He is abusing his authority, Susie said. Well, and Susie, there are other people on the other side who think that he's out there draining the swamp as well. They're bankrupted. Robert said, yep. Have been a long time, I think. Deborah mentioned that God will prevail when we were talking about all the evil. That's absolutely true. Here's some more evil, I guess. I want to censor FBI and DOJ. Yep. Zuckerberg's sister alleges that Alaska Airlines allowed a passenger next to her in first class, I might mention, to subject her to lewd sexual remarks during her flight. He talked to her and touched himself, talked about women's bodies on the flight, according to her. And they're saying that the crew told her they were familiar with the man, had spoken to him about it, and allegedly told her, don't take it personally. He just doesn't have a filter. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't another seat for her to move or for him to move to. They probably should have thrown him out of first class and put him in another seat, but who knows? But it happened to Zuckerberg's sister. Now, Heather Graham, stick him at the back. Exactly. Or put him up there, next to where the flight attendants are so they can keep an eye on him. And then forbid him from flying on Alaska Airlines again. I just don't see any, I don't know how, see, I just don't know anyone, it seems, guilty until proven innocent. Well, that's kind of the way it is anymore, Pat. And really, I mean, it's so hard to do anything. Periscope him. There you go. He'd become a star, Robert. He'd be on his own channel, no doubt. So Heather Graham is turning her Harvey Weinstein story, whatever happened to her allegedly, into a movie, and she's hoping that it's going to help others. So there you go. People are going to start benefiting off of being sexually harassed now, I guess. But again, she's claiming that it hopefully will help others that have been sexually harassed, so it won't happen to them. So let's hope that's what it is, and maybe she'll give the proceeds to charity. I don't know. It'd be nice maybe to give it to women who've been sexually abused in a shelter or something like that, maybe. But now there's other controversy coming out. The military, the Department of Defense, is offering Amazon $5 billion to act as its sole cloud solution provider. And it's a no-bid contract. So other people aren't too happy about that. They're saying maybe you could get a better price. You should always bid out a contract and get multiple offers. But the Department of Defense doesn't seem to see it that way. What do you think about that? I do believe the Department of Defense should be, it's a globalist move, absolutely. They should be bidding and asking other people to bid on it. I think on any contract that they have, it should be opened up for people to bid on it, not just Amazon. And if they don't do that, it shows me how powerful Amazon is. And again, I mean, what are we talking about? It's only fair. Yep. Should be open bidding. Yep. I really believe that. Yep. Sure they should, Shauna said. And so I agree this time with it. I don't think they should just go right to Amazon. No military is keeping an eye on Bezos. Hey, Political, how are you? Amazon is the largest cloud service. I'm not surprised, Bob. And Amanda says she doesn't trust Amazon. How come the NSA doesn't have a cloud? I don't know. Seems like something they should have. Monopolies are new world orders to control. Yeah. I mean, look at the monopolies that we have now. Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, Google. And look at what's happening with them. So it's an issue. And Monique and Robin are both saying open bid. Great scope. Have a blessed day, everyone. Stay safe. You too, Lee. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow if you're able to come back. We have a couple more minutes left and get in a couple more things here. That Tampa, Florida suspect, has anybody seen his picture and read anything about him? He's an attractive young 24-year-old, and the police have said he's very polite. I found out that he's graduated from college, St. John's in New York. He was on a men's basketball team in 2011, but I don't think played. And he graduated in 2017. Yeah, he's the suspect that they have. Yeah, he's black. He's 24. He's an attractive young man. Seems very intelligent. He doesn't, if there is a mold, he doesn't seem right now, at least in a lot of respects, to fit the mold of a serial killer. Not saying that he's not. I'm just saying, it doesn't fit the mold. Although Ted Bundy didn't fit the mold of a serial killer either. It's the ones you least expect. Exactly. Yeah, if you saw this guy on the street, you would think he was a nice young man. He worked at McDonald's. I didn't hear that one. Thank you, Chicago Pops. Have a great day. If you will, go to my SusanKnowles.com. There's an article I did there on Berkeley about their crying maps. So you guys can read a little bit about crying maps and how that's so instrumental at Berkeley these days. Another California left-leaning university. Hey, Faye, good to see you. So check that out, please do. Another thing let me just tell you really quickly on Roy Moore. He tweeted out last night that it looks like the state of Alabama is trying to do things that will interfere with him becoming a senator, in that they are registering felons as quickly as they possibly can. There's a pastor in charge of doing that, and he's going to the prisons and he is registering the felons to vote. And there is nothing against Alabama law that would keep him from doing that. Yep. Monique said, with all the perversion and sexual scandals going on, do you think we are in worse times than Sodom and Gomorrah? Yes, Monique, I do. Yes, I do. I know, Kim, it's unbelievable. So, like I said, they're registering them as fast as they can. So, guys, until tomorrow, thank you so much for being here. Please retweet this to everyone. Share it with your followers. Share it with everybody. And until then, we'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Take care. Yep. Should be political. Should be winning. All right, everybody. Stay safe. Thanks so much. Thank you, YouTube, for coming. We'll see you tomorrow.